Hi everyone, myself Dr. P. Soumya, working as an assistant professor in the Department of Chemistry, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. So in this session I am going to discuss about definitions and terminology part 2 of natural resources. So in that, the first question is what is biogas? So biogas, it is a renewable fuel. It is a renewable energy. Biogas, it is a renewable energy. So that produced when organic matter such as food or animal waste, it is broken down by microorganisms in absence of oxygen. So it is biogas, it is produced by bioorganisms like organic matter or such as food or animal waste. So any waste or any food waste or any animal waste, it is broken down by microorganisms in absence of oxygen. So that is called as biogas. So it is a renewable energy resource. It can be regenerated and replenished in a short duration of time, and it is produced when organic matter such as animal and food waste, so it is broken down by microorganisms in absence of oxygen is called as biogas. So this process is called anaerobic digestion. So it is in absence of oxygen, in absence of air. So this process is called as anaerobic digestion. For this to take place, the waste material needs to be enclosed in environment. So where there is no oxygen, it should be enclosed. So for this process, the condition is the waste material, it needs to be enclosed in an environment. So where there is no oxygen, it is in absence of oxygen. So this process, takes place in absence of oxygen. So this type of process is called as anaerobic digestion. So due to anaerobic digestion of waste material, so we will get the fuel that is also that is renewable fuel. So that is called as biogas. So biogas, it is a mixture of methane, carbon dioxide, hydrogen and hydrogen sulfate. So the composition of biogas, the composition and the biogas, it is the mixture of methane gas. So it is a mixture of various gases like methane, carbon dioxide, hydrogen and hydrogen sulfide. Methane, carbon dioxide, hydrogen and hydrogen sulfide. So here biogas, what is biogas means? It is a renewable energy resource. It is a renewable fuel. It can be generated again and again. So this is produced by anaerobic digestion of organic matter or like food or animal waste. So in this process, the organic matter, it can be broken down by microorganisms. So in absence of oxygen. So this process is called as anaerobic digestion. So in this biogas, it is a mixture of methane gas, carbon dioxide, hydrogen and hydrogen sulfide. Next question is what is biomass? What is biomass? Biomass, it is also a renewable energy resource and it can be anything from energy crops to agriculture or forestry residues and biogenic waste. So biomass, it is also a renewable energy resource. So it can be anything from energy crops to agriculture or forestry residues and biogenic waste. Any waste from agriculture crops, forestry residues and biogenic waste, it is an example of renewable energy resource. So here, the sources of biomass, these are forestry crops and residues. So like wood. So here industrial residues, animal residues and also municipal solid waste, sewage and agriculture crops and residues. forestry crops residues, agricultural residues, and it is industrial animal residues, and also municipal solid waste and sea waste. So these are sources of biomass. Biomass, it is nothing but it is also renewable energy source that can be from anything from any crops to agriculture or forestry residues and biogenic waste. So it is known as biomass. Biomass, it can be burned to create heat, so and converted into electrical energy or processed into biofuel. So here biomass like wood or anything. So here, so the biomass or any agricultural waste or any forest residues. So if we heat this burned, so the fuels, this biomass, this renewable energy source, if this is burned, it will create heat energy. So it will create heat energy. So then this is converted into electricity, that is electrical energy. That is electrical energy. So are processed into biofuel. So this is biomass. So in this, when we burn the biomass, we will get heat energy. Then we can convert this heat energy into electricity. So this biomass, it is playing a crucial role in reducing CO2 emissions from existing coal power plants by co-firing and producing green heat. So here mainly the role of biomass is this is reducing CO2 emissions. CO2 emissions from existing coal power plants and by co-firing and producing green heat. So this is about biomass and sources of biomass. So next one is, what is overgrazing? What is overgrazing? Overgrazing refers to excessive eating of grasses and other green plants by cattle. So here overgrazing, it is nothing but excessive eating of grasses and plants by the cattle. So excessive eating. So not it is excessive eating of grasses and other green plants by cattle is called as overgrazing. So it results, the overgrazing, it results into reduced growth of vegetation. So it will leads to the reducing growth of vegetation and plants and reduced diversity of plant species. It reduces the diversity of plant species. So here excessive growth of unwanted plant species. So due to overgrazing, so excessive growth of unwanted plant species takes place, and also due to this reduced growth of vegetation and reduced diversity of plant species. So here it will result the soil erosion. Soil erosion. So here, and also degradation of land. Soil erosion and degradation of land due to cattle movement. Due to cattle movement. So this is what overgrazing. Overgrazing, it is nothing but excessive eating of grasses and other green plants by cattle. So this is having many drawbacks. So many effects on soil, like that it will result into reduced growth of vegetation, it will reduce the diversity of plant species, and it will lead to the excessive growth of unwanted plant species. It leads to the degradation of land use or soil erosion. Next question is, define nuclear fission. Define nuclear fission. So a reaction in which an atomic nuclei of radioactive element splits by bombardment from an external source. So with this simultaneous release of large amounts of energy. So this is used for electric power generation. So nuclear fission means it is a reaction in which atomic nuclei. So it is atomic nuclei of radioactive element. So the atomic nuclei of radioactive element splits by bombardment from an external source like neutron. So with simultaneous release of large amounts of energy. So this large the amount the released energy, it is converted into electricity. So nuclear fission means So one atomic nucleus of radioactive element, it is splits by bombardment of some fast moving external source with simultaneous release of energy. So by bombardment of radioactive element by the other external source, so here we are generating the large amount of energy, so that energy is used for the electric power generation. So if we see this image, so here, so neutron, it is accelerated neutron, it is bombarded with the atomic nucleus, and it is converted into two nucleus with releasing large amount of heat energy. So this is nuclear fission. So in this one atomic nuclei, it is converted into so many atomic nucleus. It is splits into so two or more atomic nuclei. So define nuclear fusion. So nuclear fission is different from nuclear fusion. So nuclear fusion, it is a process of making single heavy nucleus from two lighter nucleus. This is a process of making heavy nucleus from two lighter nucleus. So in this process, two lighter nuclei, so these are combined together and forming heavier nucleus. So that is single heavy nucleus. So this process is called as nuclear fusion. So here two lighter nuclei, they're combining and forming single heavy nucleus is called as nuclear fusion. So this process also called as nuclear reaction. This nuclear fusion is also called as nuclear reaction. It releases a large amount of energy. So both process, nuclear fission and nuclear fusion, these are processes which are releasing the large amount of energy. Then this energy, it is converted into electricity. So if we see this image, so here two lighter nucleus like tritium and deuterium, they are combined together and forming heavier fusion, and they are undergoing fusion, and these are forming helium. So this is a heavier nucleus than deuterium and tritium. So with releasing, so after forming the helium, it is releasing energy. So that energy is converted into electricity. The nucleus made by fusion, it is heavier than either of starting nuclei. So here, however, it is not as heavy as the combination of original mass of the starting nuclei. So the lowest mass, it is changed into lots of energy. So here the lowest mass, it is changed into lots of energy. It is converted into energy. Loss of mass, it is converted into loss of energy. So this is shown in Einstein's famous equation, that is E equal to mc square. In this, mass is converted into energy. So by this equation, we can say that the loss of mass energy, it is converting into energy. So fusion happens in the middle of stars. So example of fusion reactions are nuclear fusion reactions. So this type of fusion reactions takes place in middle of stars like sun. So in the sun, nuclear fusion reactions takes place. So in that, single heavy nucleus is forming by two lighter nuclei like deuterium and tritium. So this is forming helium. So it will releases a large amount of energy. So this type of reactions takes place in many stars like sun. So next one is, what is drought? Drought, it is a deficiency of precipitation. Drought means it is a deficiency of precipitation over an extended period. Usually a season or more. So resulting in water shortage causing adverse impacts on vegetation, animals and people. So drought means nothing but it is a deficiency in precipitation over a period of time, over an extended period. So usually a season or more seasons. So resulting, it will results the water shortage, it will cause the water shortage cause adverse effects on vegetation, animals, and also people. So this is called as a drought. Drought means it is a deficiency in precipitation in certain place over a extended period. So this will lead to the shortage of water. So this shortage of water causing very effects, various effects on vegetation, animals, and people. So generally this occurs when a region receives consistently below average precipitation. Generally this drought occurs when region receives consistently below average of precipitation. So here this type of drought occurs when a certain region receives consistently below average of precipitation, below average rainfall. So although droughts can persist for several years, so even a short or intense drought can cause significant damage or harm to the local economy. So even it is short drought or intense drought, it can have their impacts on local economy. So here prolonged droughts have caused mass migrations and humanitarian crisis. So here prolonged droughts, these will cause severe problems like mass migrations and humanitarian crisis. So this is about drought. Drought is nothing but it is a deficiency in a precipitation for over an extended period. So usually a season or more. So it is resulting in water shortage. This will affect many other like animals, humans, and vegetation. So this occurs. This leads to this drought can cause the damage to the. It will damage and harm to the local economy. So this will lead to the mass migrations or humanitarian crisis. So next question is, what are solar cells? What are solar cells? So a solar cell or photovoltaic cell. So solar cell, it is nothing but photovoltaic cell. So it is an electronic device that converts the energy of light directly into electricity by means of photovoltaic effect. So in this solar cell, so it is a photovoltaic cell. It will convert light energy. It will convert light energy into electrical energy. So it will convert light energy into electrical energy. Solar cell or photovoltaic cell, it will convert so the energy of light from the sun directly into electricity by means of photovoltaic effect. So this solar cell, it is nothing but photovoltaic cell. It is made up of semiconductors like PN junctions, semiconductor materials like P semiconductor and N type semiconductor. So here when a solar panel exposed to the sunlight, when solar panel or photovoltaic cell, so it is exposed to the sunlight, the light energies are absorbed by the semiconductor material. So when the solar panel exposed to the sunlight, the light energy, these are absorbed by the semiconductor material. So due to this absorbed energy, the electrons are liberated and produce an external DC current. So here the electrons, due to absorption of energy, the electrons are liberated from this photovoltaic cell, and these are the flow of electrons takes place. Nothing but it will produce the electric current, that is external DC current. So this DC current, it is converted into 1240 volt AC current, so using an inverter for different applications. So here, what is solar cell means? It is a photovoltaic cell. So it is nothing but it is an electronic device which is converting light energy into electrical energy. So by means of photovoltaic effect. So what is photovoltaic effect means? When solar panel, it is exposed to the light, so this light energy, so it is absorbed by semiconductor material, so which is present in photovoltaic cell. So this after that absorption, that energy that absorbed energy. Due to this absorbed energy, the electrons these are liberated. The electrons are liberated, and here flow of electrons takes place, means the electrical energy is produced. So here external DC current is produced. So after that, this DC current is converted into 1240 volt AC current using an inverter. So these are used in different applications. So solar cell, it is nothing but voltaic cell. It will convert directly sunlight into electrical energy by means of photovoltaic effect. Next definition is, what is solar energy? Solar energy, it is basically the energy from the sun. Solar energy. So energy from the sun, it is nothing but solar energy. Solar, it is the Latin word. So it is for sun and it's powerful. So it is a powerful source of energy. So solar, it is a Latin word. So that means sun. So it is a sun, that is energy. Solar energy, it is a powerful sources of energy. Without it, there will be no life. So solar energy means the energy from sun. Energy from sun, it is nothing but solar energy. So it is a powerful source of energy. Solar energy, it is one of the fastest growing and environmentally sustainable trends in renewable energy. So we know that solar energy, it is also called as renewable energy. It is also called as renewable energy resource. So renewable energy resource means the energy which can be regenerated again and again in short duration of time. So example of renewable energy, one of the examples of renewable energy source is solar energy. So solar energy, it is nothing but the energy from the sun. So we can convert this solar energy into electrical energy by using solar cell or photovoltaic cell. So next question is, what is wind farm? A wind farm or wind park, it is also called as wind power station or wind power plant. So wind farm, it is wind farm or wind park. This is also called as wind power plant or wind power station. So it is a group of wind turbines in the same location used to produce electricity. Wind farm, it is nothing but, so it is a group of wind turbines. It is a group of wind turbines which are placed in the same location, so which are used to produce electricity. So wind farm means it is a group of wind turbines which are placed in same location used to produce electricity is called as wind farm. So this wind farm also called as wind park and also called as wind power plant, wind power station. So wind farms, so these are vary in size from a small number of turbines to large number of turbines, like smaller numbers to several hundred to several hundreds of turbines covering an extensive area. So these wind farms, it can be either on onshore or offshore. It can be either onshore or offshore. So wind farm, it is nothing but it is a wind park. So it is a group of wind turbines in a same place, in a same location, which are used to produce the electricity. In this wind farm, the wind energy, so this is converted into electrical energy, electricity. Wind energy, it is converting into electrical energy. So here by the force of wind, so wind turbines, this will move like wind by the wind, and this kinetical energy is converted into electrical energy. So this is about wind farm. Next question is, what are fossil fuels? Fossil fuels are the fuels formed by natural resources. Fossil fuels are the fuels, so these are formed by natural resources such as anaerobic decomposition of buried dead organisms like animals and plants. Fossil fuels are fuels formed by natural resources such as anaerobic decomposition of buried dead organisms. So fossil fuel, it is also, so it is a non-renewable energy resource. It is an example of non-renewable energy resources. So we cannot regenerate this fossil fuel in a short time. It will take millions of years. So fossil fuels, these are the fuels which are formed by natural processes. Natural processes such as anaerobic decomposition of dead organisms. Fossil fuels, these are having great importance because they can burned, they can be burned, so producing significant amount of energy, that is heat energy. So this from the fossil fuel, so by burning the fossil fuel, we can get heat energy. It can be converted into different forms of energy like electrical energy, like electrical energy. So we can burn the fuels, fossil fuels. So we can get heat energy. Then this heat energy converted into different forms of energy. So this example of different form, one of different form of energy is electrical energy. So which is we can convert this heat energy into electrical energy. So some of the examples of fossil fuels are here. So here coal, oil, petroleum, natural gas. So here these are fossil fuels, and also kerosene, propane. So these are fractions of petroleum. So we three examples of fossil fuels are coal, petroleum, and natural gas. So these are fossil fuels. These are fossil fuels. These are formed by natural process by anaerobic digestion of buried dead organisms. So next question is, what are primary sources of energy and what are secondary sources of energy? What are primary sources of energy? What are secondary sources of energy? Primary and secondary, so these are found in nature before conversion or transformation, such as, so here primary energy, so it is found in nature before conversion or transformation, such as called as such source is called as primary source of energy. It is a primary source of energy. It is also called as natural source of energy. So the primary source of energy, it is found in nature. It is found in nature before conversion or transformation. It is called as primary source of energy. Example of primary source of energy, that is coal, petroleum, and natural gas. Coal, petroleum, and natural gas. So these can occur in nature. These occur in nature. So these are three different forms: solid, liquid, and gaseous fuels. So solid fuel is fuel, liquid fuel is petroleum, gaseous fuel is natural gas. So these three are natural fuels, or these are examples of primary sources of energy. These are occur in nature. Primary source of energy, it is found in nature before conversion or transformation, is called as primary source. And examples of primary source of energy is sources of energy are coal, natural gas, and crude oil or petroleum. What are the secondary sources of energy? Secondary energy, it refers to the more convenient forms of energy which are transformed from other primary energy sources through energy conversion process. So what are secondary sources of energy means? So here these secondary energy resources, these can be produced by using natural fuel or primary sources of energy. So for example, so here these examples of secondary source of energy is electricity. So which is transformed from primary sources such as coal, petroleum, that is raw oil, crude oil, fuel oil, natural gas, and wind. So here example of secondary sources of energy is, it is electricity, so which is transformed from primary resources, like coal, raw oil, fuel oil, natural gas, and wind. So here primary energy resources are examples of primary energy resources are. So primary energy resources are found in nature like coal, wind energy, nuclear energy. So here secondary energy it is nothing but some energy which is transformed from the primary source. So like that is example of this is electrical energy. So electricity from wind energy, electricity from solar energy, electricity from hydro energy. So these are the examples of secondary sources of energy. So this is about what primary sources of energy and secondary sources of energy. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.